Hello wonderful people, welcome to Life City Library. This is your host Lye Yosh. In this channel you'll be able to learn these interesting and life-changing information on science and psychology as I introduce these by using scientific studies and articles. If you're interested, please check these videos out and show support by liking and subscribing to Life Study Library. I really appreciate you so much for helping me out on this project. So, if you've been following my recent uploads, I just finished a pretty major video, a video titled How to Make and Break Habits. And not gonna lie, that made me pretty tired and I needed a little break. But don't worry, because that doesn't mean I'll stop posting videos. I still have many other videos being made right now, in fact, and along with these upcoming videos, you can always check out my other past videos that also talk about these interesting scientific information that can greatly help you in life. These videos can be found in the description section, so after you finish watching this video, don't forget to go check them out. As for this video, since I'm a little drained out, I'll talk about a relatively chill, laid-back topic. We are going to talk about the scientific benefits of podcasts, and how listening to podcasts can scientifically heal you and improve your life in a surprising way. This channel itself is a podcast, and you are listening to a podcast right now, so yeah, what do you know? I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me when I say that in this modern era, we are living in a society of constant competition and comparison. Although the use of social media has broadened our lives, it also created a world where we are consistently comparing ourselves with strangers, looking at our, for example, body, our wealth, or our status, our material possessions. We're constantly comparing these, and by looking at social media, are feeling envious of that celebrity's body or amount of money that this person has, or amount of jewelry that they have, stuff like that. And many people might think that this is a positive comparison that can motivate us to work harder and endeavor. And this might be true in some rare cases, but far more often, people are experiencing negative effects by this act of comparison. We're mainly feeling miserable of ourselves by constantly comparing with others about pretty much everything we can think of. But at the same time, I am aware that social media and platforms similar to it, including the internet itself, is a must-have resource in the modern world. And this brings us to the question, is there any social media or any type of platform, any type of social platform that connects us to the world, any type of media in that regard, that doesn't cause us all this mental deterioration, but brings some positivity into our lives? Are there any media platforms that are beneficial to us? And the answer to this question is yes, there is. And the media platform that psychologically benefits us is podcasts and any other type of audio media. According to a study done in Queensland University of Tech, listening to podcasts improves your feeling of a sense of control, along with their basic skill at doing things, and their social connection, or your desire to socialize with other people. It's interesting, isn't it? Well, the study took 306 participants who were all regular listeners of some type of podcast and have been listening to podcasts for more than 3 years. And the researchers looked at the samples who were listening to podcasts on an average of 3.5 hours per week. What the study discovered was that the great number of samples who were vigorous listeners of podcasts had a strong sense of curiosity and overall enjoyed researching activities. They liked looking things up on the internet and doing various forms of research, and they enjoyed the overall and general activity of thinking. So these people who regularly listen to podcasts, they enjoy gathering information and are generally curious about many things and are intellectually extroverted. And many of them, according to the study, are able to successfully apply the knowledge that they gain through podcast listening in their daily or professional lives. And the research shows that listening to podcasts might be one method you can use to increase your satisfaction in life. The more time you spend listening to podcasts, the time correlated with the general sense of, for example, life satisfaction, or the feeling that your life and what you're doing has meaning. These kinds of positive emotions that generally motivates people to do stuff. Additionally, many other studies have proven that the feeling of life satisfaction and fulfillment are great triggers of concentration or productivity, which makes sense when you think think about your hobbies. If you think that your hobbies are creating meaning or positive energy to the world, or in most cases you feel fulfilled to do that hobby, you genuinely enjoy it, then most of the time you'll only further indulge in that activity with greater intensity of concentration and effort. Take me and this channel, for example. Despite not being the greatest YouTube channel in the history of YouTube, I practically drowned in the emotion of satisfaction and fulfillment when I'm working on my podcast. And these emotions serve as the greatest source of motivation for me to keep doing, despite having to deal with them many times when I do not see significant results. Overall, the study found out that those who regularly listen to podcasts tend to enjoy gathering information and have a great amount of curiosity and intellectual extroversion, and are able to analyze the information they gathered and will most likely be able to apply many of these hints they've created in their minds into their work or other professional or private area of life. Yeah, this was an interesting study for me, and it also made me pretty happy because I've been listening to podcasts for like half of my life so far, and it's always delightful to find out that your hobby has scientifically proven practical benefit to your life other than pure satisfaction. And I think I've mentioned in one of my previous videos that the feeling of satisfaction or happiness greatly influences your productivity in pretty much whatever you're doing. So this positive feeling is highly important when you want to accomplish something in your life or invent something. Adding on to that, I also want to mention that the study also points out that those who had a feeling of kind of a familiarity towards the host of the podcast. So in this case of Life Study Library, it would be me because I'm the host of this podcast, obviously. And this is mainly towards my wonderful real life friends who also helped me out by watching this video. Everyone, thank you so much for doing that. But even if you and I don't know each other, the study stated that the more familiarity you have with me, specifically through this podcast, you will experience an increase in the feeling of social connection and the feeling of belonging that comes because of it. We humans, a great majority of us, have a psychological understanding that being in a social group is valuable. So therefore, we always have a psychological want to be in a group of people, an organization. This makes sense because the human species, since ancient times, have protected ourselves and thrived by gathering in groups and putting ourselves in a society. And this shows even during when we use social media, although it's a digital platform. And this is another reason why we get so easily addicted to social media, because social media itself is a social platform where we can feel as if we are a part of a group. But what does this have to do with the podcast? Well, this study also showed that when we listen to podcasts, we get the same positive feeling of inclusion, that we are a part of a group, and therefore our emotional well-being improves. We become happy. So from this as well, we can see that listening to podcasts have a tremendous effect on our lives and our level of happiness and fulfillment. So if you want the feeling of emotion of social fulfillment without actually hanging out with people for whatever reason, I suggest you should become even more consistent with watching my video. It'll make both you and me happier. So yeah, like and subscribe. So that was a rather shorter video, but there you have it. The science of podcast/radio and how listening to them might make you happier. Yeah, after making the previous video, I made the executive decision to make some of the upcoming future videos a little shorter, but I'll make sure to make them all educational and interesting nonetheless. In the meantime, you can go ahead and watch my recommended videos from this channel and or recommended books that I read that were interesting that also talks about a similar topic that was talked in this video, or any other interesting topic about science and psychology. I'll talk about one video and one book recommendation that talks about a similar topic. And the video that's recommended from this channel that you should watch next is called The Surprising Activity That Lowers Anxiety. This is actually my first ever video on this channel. This video talks about a specific activity that you can do to lower anxious feelings during stressful situations. And before I dig into it, I must clarify that the feeling of anxiety or the general feeling of, heightened emotions by themselves are not harmful to us. So many people say that anxiety is bad for you, but if you think about it, there are positive anxieties, right? Like, for example, when you saw your family for the first time in years due to a global crisis and you became overjoyed with positive emotion, or in a less dramatic scale, when you became hyped by seeing that you aced the test or made unbelievable results in your career project. In these positive times, You should jump up and down, scream in joy, or dance around or something. This is also a state of heightened emotions, which can also be called positive anxiety. So you can see that the problem here is when you're negatively anxious. You're worrying about something or are scared of not seeing ideal results at something that hasn't happened yet, and therefore are not able to focus on your current activity, what you can change, and what you can make it better. The present is what you're supposed to be thinking of, but negative anxiety about a past or future event hinders you from focusing on the now, the present. This is an all too common issue for many people. And in order to help you solve this issue, this video talks about a specific simple and easy activity that you can do that can help you solve issues like what I've just explained right now. And to kind of give you a hint of what this is, it's not related to anything that you might think of when you think about calming yourselves down. So it's not about thinking positively or telling yourself to calm down or telling yourself that it's not a big deal. None of those ordinary methods that you might have heard about. If you're interested, you should head down to my link in my description after finishing this video to learn about how to actually lower feelings of anxiety. Moving on to today's recommended book, which is called The Upside of Stress: Why Stress is Good for You and How to Get Good at It by McGonigal. The main point of this book is what I just said. Although, many people think that stress is bad, it's actually pretty beneficial at many occasions. Honestly, it only becomes bad because we perceive it as something that's bad for us. So you have no reason to try to eliminate it from your life. By reading this book, you'll fully understand this message as it explains why, with a little bit of tweaking and creativity, we can make stress work positively for us. Those of you who are suffering from constant anxiety and stress, I'd say that this book is a must read for you. The Amazon link to this book is also in the description, so if you want to know more about it, go check it out. Alright, that was a pretty good comeback after a long break. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. That was it for today's video. You've been watching Life Study Library. This was your host, Lye Yosh, and I'll see you in another video. Ciao.